Well, it's not something you see every day. Alan Jones apologising to the PM. This is what he was apologising for. These comments he made at a Young Liberals dinner.
Every person in the caucus of the Labor Party knows that Julia Gillard's a liar. Everybody. I'll cover that in a moment. The old man must be died 2 weeks ago. Shame. To think that he had a daughter and told lies every time she was in Parliament.
Well, joining me now is Nine political editor Laurie Oakes. Laurie, good morning to you.
Go, Karl.
Now, Alan Jones got it badly wrong. He won't be sacked, though, will he?
Oh, he won't be sacked because he owns a large part of the company that employs him, Karl. And anyway, look, he didn't say this on the radio. It's not about whether he should be sacked. It's about whether what he did was appropriate. It's about the implications of that for the Liberal Party, with whom he's closely aligned and who organised this function. And I suppose it's also about whether people want to listen to his program. I mean, I find it hard to see how people go near it without clamping a clothes peg over their nose first.
Well, a lot of people do listen to it, and in the past, when these things have happened with Alan Jones, his ratings have gone up.
Well, that's probably right, but it doesn't say much for the audience either, let alone Alan Jones. I mean, Alan Jones has done this sort of thing before. He talked about putting Julia Gillard in a chaff bag and then dumping her at sea, and he apologised. That shows what a Jones apology is worth. Yesterday he's at it again, and his excuse for that comment, get this, his excuse for the chaff bag line was, I didn't say leave her in the ocean, I said put her out there and let her swim home. Well, that's terrific, isn't it? And then we had the recent claim talking about Julia Gillard and Clover Moore and other women in politics, when he said women are destroying the joint. I mean, he's a very strange bloke.
Alan Jones has been relentless in his criticisms of the Prime Minister. As you would know, it's probably fair to say they have equal disdain for each other. It's unlikely to stop.
I'm not sure they have equal disdain for each other. I imagine Julia Gillard's disdain for Alan Jones would now be without bounds. And what Alan Jones did was use the death of a parent to score a political point. Now, that's just about the definition of a grub as far as I'm concerned.
He fronted the media yesterday continuing his criticisms. This is what he had to say.
There are days when you just have to concede and man up and say, you got it wrong. And on this instance, these are remarks which I shouldn't have repeated.
It is nonetheless awkward for Tony Abbott and the Liberal Party. This is what Nicola Roxon had to say to Lisa a little earlier.
Yeah.
I don't think Tony Abbott makes Mr Jones make these ridiculous comments, but I think if you strike a match, you then can't be surprised if the fire takes off in all sorts of different directions. For 2 years, Mr Abbott has been making outrageous comments about the Prime Minister. For all of that time, Mr Jones has been making outrageous comments. They've been on air, they've been at Liberal Party functions. This is an environment that the modern Liberal Party is breeding, and it's time to say that enough is enough.
So how does Tony Abbott handle the situation from here, considering that, I guess, Alan Jones is an important tool for them?
Well, look at the way he handled it yesterday. He waited after the press conference to make a comment when everybody, Malcolm Turnbull was out there very early in the morning saying this was a disgusting comment by Alan Jones. Tony Abbott waits, and then he issues a press statement saying Alan, using the first name to show what mates they are, Alan has behaved, his comments are out of line. Out of line. Everyone else is saying it's disgusting, beyond the pale, offensive. To Tony Abbott, it's out of line. Look, I think Tony Abbott needs to distance himself more from Alan Jones, but he won't, because Alan Jones, as you say, is a good weapon. When Tony Abbott goes on the Alan Jones program, it's not an interview, it's Alan Jones making statements and Tony Abbott agreeing with him. It's almost a coaching session. So no, Tony Abbott won't distance himself, but I think this is difficult for the Liberal Party because the Liberals organised this function. The Sydney University Liberal Club is part of the Liberal Party. There were Liberal Party front benches there. The organisers auctioned off a chaff bag jacket. You know, so much for the Jones apology. Alan Jones had signed it and he'd made the biggest bid for it. Now, this is all Liberal Party activity. We haven't seen Tony Abbott apologising for that, criticising that, and he does tend to create a climate where people think he is excusing what Alan Jones did.
All right. You don't have much time for Alan Jones yourself, do you?
Well, after this, Karl, do you?
Well, yeah, I think it's a very difficult situation, and I think, well,
it's a bit more than that. Well, it's a bit more than that, my friend.
Well, I'll declare that yes, I am friends with Alan Jones, but as for his comments yesterday, I think they were out of line, and I think it reflected badly on him. Yeah. All right, Laurie, thanks for that.
Okay, Karl. Thank you.
Talk to you soon. Here are the top stories this hour.